That is not a good idea. That, unfortunately, is what Plainville has relied on in the past. I remember one year we transferred $1.7 million out of free cash to take care of recurring operating budget expenses, and that's really what, a number of decisions like that as a town have got us to the point where we had these shortfalls, and subsequent overrides have been on different ballots to try to fill that gap. So doing that would create an issue in town. What you want to do is use one-time revenue for one-time expenses. So that's what you'll see later in the warrant, which is going to be done with the remainder of our free cash. But this $1.8 million represents, I think, quite possibly, I think it's the single largest one-time deposit into the savings account, if you will, for the town. So for a town that's been in financial hardship over the last few years with these cuts that we've had to make and had to live with, to then have some free cash that's come through the pandemic just because of building permits and things like that, we're in a pretty good spot from a reserve perspective in order to be able to put some of this money back and hopefully increase our bond rating.
I have tried to explain stabilization fund to people, and I say, well, do you know how you have a checking account? Yes. That's basically the operating budget. Mm-hmm. The stabilization fund is like your savings account. Right. You want to build that up. I guess the worst 3 words ever used to describe a stabilization account would be rainy day fund. Because people say, well, it's pouring outside, now is time to go after those funds. Right. But as I understand it, the more money you have in your stabilization fund, it actually saves you money when you bond for capital projects. Isn't the target 5% of your operating budget?
Thank you. It is 5%. We've not made that for more than 10 years, and consequently this addition to our stabilization fund will bring us up over 6%. And this is important for the town to do, because as we do go for bond re-rating in the spring, we want to show our financial discipline and our financial ability that we have done the best management practices and put money into stabilization. And that builds our reserves that will hopefully impress the rating agencies, and that means we'll be able to borrow money at lesser rate.
So it would be just like a homeowner when they're applying for a mortgage. The better your credit, the more you have in savings, the lower you pay in interest. In this case, some of the bonds that you currently have, the interest rate might be reduced.
We can refinance every 2 years.
Okay.
And we just refinanced last spring. We're going to wait the 2 years, and we're going to be hopefully in a very good spot. But it is important for us, for any borrowing that we might do for water and sewer this coming year with the ARPA money that's coming available, that we want to be able to have a good credit rating so that we're bondable.